What is up, you beautiful buttercups? I want to take a moment here and talk about a game that I love dearly, Destiny 2. Now, so far, people talk about how dead this game is, but besides that, I want to talk about why it feels so stagnant. And I think I've narrowed it down. To anyone that is watching this, I am new to this whole YouTube scene. I'll give some background on myself and my Destiny history to hopefully you guys can understand how knowledgeable I am. I've played all of Destiny 1 and the beta of Destiny 2 on the PS4. I have 100%ed both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 with all the exotics and all the trophies. And I don't know how many hours I've put in, but I've competed in all the raid races from Destiny 2, and I have done all the raids in Destiny 1 as well. So let's get on to the point here. What exactly is Destiny 2 missing? To start off, I want you to imagine that a new game you just started. Take, for example, something like Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Solid. These types of games are flashy, high impact, and it makes you feel that. When you play them, as the great Maxor said, it activates my neurons. And to most people, dare I say all people, I would say that gamers look for that. The badass moments in that 1v6, the clutch plays and the funny garbage. That is what we look for. Now, for Destiny, I would say that we have some of those ideas. We have the clutch plays, we have the funny moments, but we are missing that badass feeling. The feeling of wielding your first exotic. The feeling of straight destruction. In Destiny right now, nothing feels powerful. Sure, the new Storm Chaser is topping DPS, but that's a number. The gun. When using the gun, it doesn't feel powerful. It feels like any other gun. Yeah, the number is higher, but where's the impact? Where's the feeling of adrenaline? I know that Destiny is a balance game at heart. PvP and PvE have two different sandboxes, and with that, the game is needed to feel powerful yet balanced. But one costs the other. The more competitive a game gets, the less power fantasy someone has. And the more fantasy someone has, the less competitive it gets. People talk all the time about splitting PvP and PvE, but A, that'll never happen. And B, why would we want that? Yes, it would help with the competitive versus fantasy, but at the same time, we as players lose so much with that. Humans are creatures that take the easy road. Splitting up the game makes it harder to play both versions of the game. Less players lead to a downfall, and that is not what I want. But I want that feeling. Wielding Galahorn for the first time in Destiny 1. Using Thorn in Destiny 1 pre-nerf. Yes, it was broken, don't get me wrong, but it was fun, and on top of that, funny. These moments that you look back on is where you get those feelings. Take Whisper of the Worm, was a legendary in Destiny 1, comes back as an exotic, and it feels exotic now. The perk finally makes sense for an exotic. You get unlimited ammo for the price of an exotic slot. And you have to hit headshots. Was it broken? Probably, but that was the king, and you felt it. By the sound, the mission, the course of action to get the catalyst, everything about this weapon felt right. Fast forward to now. King of DPS is a legendary. All exotics feel stale. Yes, there is power to them, but there isn't that feeling. What we care about now in Destiny is what stuns champions and how to do something the fastest. Yes, we always wanted to be the fastest, since gaming was invented, but with that speed, at least make it feel rewarding. Speed right now isn't a good spot, I would say. Sure, everything is dominated by Eager's Edge, but using it definitely gives you speed, and that's kind of the point. You feel fast. We need that feeling. When was the last time you felt powerful? Was it recently? Good for you. Was it a while ago? I feel you there. And part of it may be that I'm a little burnt out of the game. I have played it for just about 7 years now. I started playing when Crota came out in Destiny 1. And with that amount of time, yeah, I can see you'd get a little burnt out here and there. And I have. I've stopped playing when Deepstone Crypt came out. I did the race, failed, and got off for months. But coming back to this game, it's hard keeping my attention towards it. Yeah, the game right now is slow, but it's also gaining hype. There is a new raid coming soon, and with that, invigoration has struck. But this time, I'm gonna make a video about this. I want to know your opinions on this topic. Is it only me? Maybe it's because of burnout. Maybe it's due to the fact that I've done everything in the game has to offer. But then why transition to an MMO? Now, let's talk about an MMO that I've played a considerable amount. Black Desert Online, or Black Desert, or BDO, whatever you call it now. That game. I've played upwards of 1,500 hours and still not in-game. Yes, I know. But that's just how BDO is, and it's an MMO that feels right. The movement, the combos, the damage, all in accordance to how the game looks. Take Warrior, basic class in every MMO. The sword feels heavy. You feel like this sword is fast and versatile, while your shield stuns and keeps you alive. How about another class, Mystic or Striker? Kickboxing and punching. They feel heavy. The animations look amazing. And with that, the kicks and punches have this weight that really feels like you stun someone because of how hard you just hit them. Now, take Destiny. Sure, it's different because of gunplay instead of melee combat, but even then, it's nothing flashy. Nothing stands out. All rockets have the same weight. All guns feel the same. Sure, the stat handling can change that, but nothing is distinct. The two-tailed fox feels the same as the truth, and the truth feels the same as any tracking void rocket launcher. Take pulses. Bad Juju feels the same as any full auto pulse. The only one that is different is Vigilance Wing, and even that is barely different. There is no feeling. Headshots feel the same as body shots. Sure, the number is different, but there's no recoil. Yeah, you flinch someone, but on your screen you can't see that. If you shoot someone, you can't tell if they flinch because they shoot you right back. Bosses can stagger, but it's nothing. I think ads flinch more than stagger, and even that doesn't feel good. There's nothing in the game right now that gives a sense of power. Nothing that is scaled to what we are. I mean, in the lore, we are motherfucking guardians. Come on now. Watch any My Name is Bife video and you instantly get lost in the world. We sound godly, outer worldly. We have killed gods, and yet we feel powerless. The scale that is needed really needs a new scale. I'm not a software engineer or programmer, so I have no idea how it would actually work, but I'm going to give another example of power. The critically acclaimed game Elden Ring. At first, you are weak, and if you fought the Tree Sentinel at the start, you know how weak you really are. But the good thing about that is once in a while, you stun him, or stagger him, whatever you call it. This stagger renders the boss completely to your whim. Some bosses have a crit spot to deal a special attack with a nice animation, and the boss comes back up. But that stun is huge. It is not only a tension reliever, but it gives a sense of power. I just stunned the first boss and I'm only level 10. That feeling is amazing. That power you get from stunning gives a sense of understanding to the game, gives a sense of wanting to keep playing. Staggering targets, then initiating a special attack feels so right. The only thing that comes close to that in Destiny are finishers, and even then they aren't heavy. They feel weightless. Sure, a scythe is badass looking at it, but in the finisher it feels the same as a throwing knife. And in gameplay, the scythe feels the same as combining a sword and a waveframe grenade launcher. There isn't any heavy feel. The power, that undenying burn to use the weapon, not because it's meta, not because it's good, but because it has weight. It feels powerful. The sound, the way the target either dies or recoil from damage, the way we feel holding this thing. Bring this home, we now talk about supers. In Destiny, supers are what feels powerful. When you cast a Nova Bomb, you know anything around you is dead. When you pop Hammer of Soul, you know you're about to wreak havoc on anyone and anything in your way. When you use Blade Barrage, you know with the power of Cade behind you, everything is burnt to a crisp. All supers have that weight. Well, maybe not all, but the rework supers definitely have that feel. And I love that. But when we talk about Destiny, yes, abilities are very important to the game, but when all else fails, what do you turn to? Your trusty auto rifle, your hand cannon, maybe a scout rifle. You turn to your weapons. And when the game feels empty using those weapons, the feel of the super starts to lose that. After so many thunder crashes, you start to get numb. After Nova bombing so many times, it isn't the same. That's where weapons come in. When a new auto rifle really feels different, then the whole world changes. Your super really starts to work again. You feel unstoppable. And when that weapon increases a certain ability, or maybe your super, everything is coming together. Think of Legend of Acreus. I would say this weapon packs a punch and you can tell. It's like another super. But imagine if this weapon gave something in return. After every kill, handling improved. Now it's faster. Range increases. Now it's hitting more. Abilities recharge. Now it's working with a kit. We need something that gives weapons power. Make it multiple now. Screw the sandbox. I would love to see Bungie try one thing. Though I am small, and this might never reach anyone, I want to try. And this is what I'm proposing. Screw the sandbox. Both PvP and PvE. Make weapons that are broken, make them absolutely absurd. Make special finishers for bosses. After the kill, you can go up to the boss and interact using a special finisher, and maybe it gives another armor slash weapon from the Raider dungeon. Make it feel alive. Weapons that pack a punch, abilities that when used feel more than pressing a button, encounters that grab your attention. And I would say that the encounters are really good right now. But it sucks when you're looking at a set piece like the Witch Queen Vowed Disciple. Beautiful aesthetics, and the only thing that takes you out of it is a weapon that you've used for 8 years and hasn't changed. As I said, I'm not sure how to go about this, but I know something is needed. No one cares if the task at hand is doing strikes for hours when you have a weapon that feels amazing in your hand. No one cares for a tedious, monotonous task if the task has something to keep our interest. Strike scoring in Destiny 1 and in Guardian games was a step in the right direction, but we still need that thing. That weapon that you can show off, that emblem that you can show off. In the end, that's what we want, is to show off weapon kills, what we have achieved, how we did it, and most importantly, what we use. When someone says there is an avid hand cannon user, the first question is always, what hand cannon? If it's Ace of Spades, you know that they like the meta. If it's some random 180, you understand they like the range of a hand cannon and loves when you can 3-tap someone with a damaging perk. There are little things that you understand about each weapon, and we desperately need more. We need that feeling of when someone says a weapon name and you know it. You know the power. Someone says Destiny 1 Thorn and you know the burn damage and you can feel the memory come back. When they say Icebreaker, you can imagine sitting in the back waiting because that meta sucked. When they say names that you can imagine, Whisper of the Worm, Outbreak Prime or Perfected, these iconic weapons have a feel, but it's not even close to the feeling of something like an Elden Ring stun. When you stun a champion, that's about it. Nothing comes from it. You stun it, and now you damage it to kill it. Or, if you don't, wait and do the same thing until it dies. It doesn't change. It doesn't recoil, doesn't get stronger, doesn't react, doesn't do anything. We need that power fantasy to work. We need that feeling of saying, I killed a fucking worm god. And someone looking at you, questioning, what the fuck is a worm god? As you just realize you shouted it in public Walmart. But it doesn't matter because there's that one guy who comes up to you and gives you a high five looking at you and saying, it was Zol, wasn't it? So, to the you that is watching, to the you that plays Destiny, what is it for you that keeps you playing? For me, it's the raids, the funny moments with those friends that I play, and do stupid ideas that somehow work. But for all of you, how do you get past the boring, monotonous strikes and the meta-induced crucible in order to play your game that is Destiny? In order for you to feel powerful? How do you play? Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this type of video, hit like, sub, all that good stuff. And if this video gets, I don't know, 2 likes, I'll do another video like this. Just me talking about how I think. Alright? I will catch you on the flip side.